Ford,
Here.
Van Zant. Here. Hopper.
Here.
Webb.
Here.
Okay, it looks like we have a quorum. Does anybody want to have anything pulled from the consent agenda?
I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will second that motion.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant.
Yes.
Hopper.
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number, oh, do we have any remarks or inquiries by the audience not pertaining to any agenda items? Perfect. Moving on to item number 8, the financial report.
Okay, let's go over the board packet for January. We've got average daily census for January was 11.45. This is up 2 days from December and 1 day from the 2024 monthly average. Acute payer mix for January is 84% for Medicare and Medicare managed care. The 2024 monthly average was 77% for those. Swing bed payer mix for January was 93% for Medicare and 7% for Medicare managed care. The operating margin was a loss of $29,000, which is up $27,000 from the 2024 monthly average. Net patient revenue was $1.4 million for the month, which is an increase of $32,000 from the 2024 monthly average. 340B with revenue was $24,000 for January. Operating expenses are at $1.4 million for January, and that's down $5,000 from December. Patient days for January were at 355, which is up 74 days from December. That's great. Cash receipts for the month were a little over $1.11 million. That's an increase of $216,000 from last month and a decrease of $150,000 from last year's monthly average. Cash disbursements for January were at $996,000. The cash balance at January month end was $521,000, giving us about 10.8 days of cash on hand. This is an increase of $130,000 from December, and it's an increase of due to cash receipts. For the clinic, the January average visits per day were 8.41. Revenue for the clinic was $32,000. Operating expenses were $81,000, and this resulted in a net loss of $49,000 for the month of January. That is what I've got.
Questions pertaining to the financial report? Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 9, discussion and possible action to approve PYA PC engagement letter for the fiscal year of 2024 Medicare cost report services.
This is just so we can get on file for them to start on our cost report for the 2024 year. They do our cost report. They're doing our audits now. If you look at the summary attachment, we paid right around $22,000 last year, so this can be anywhere from 19 to 20, 19.6 to 22.7, not to exceed the 22.7. Prior year cost was 22,000. And if I remember right, that was, and Dennis is on the phone, that was through PYA also for 2023. It was, yep. And we can terminate it at any time, but again, they're doing our audits. They're doing everything financial for us.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
Second.
If we could call for a vote at this time, please.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant.
Yes.
Hopper.
Here.
Webb.
Yes.
And your boys for getting it back.
Okay, moving on to item number 10, discussion and possible action to approve the CNA renewal policy for directors and officers of the employment practices liability insurance policy coverage.
This is our yearly DNO coverage for y'all and for us. Covers our liability insurance for that. Last year, as you can tell, it was $11,021, but if you remember, the prior year, it was right around $11,200, and it went down by 200, now it's going back up 100. So, you know, we gained some, we lost some. This is just so everybody knows, we did send it out to multiple other vendors, and due to financials, they will not give us a quote on this. So this is our one and only vendor we can go with.
It's been that way for the last little bit, right?
Yeah. I know it was the same way last year when we brought it.
That's what I was
Yep,
thinking.
you're absolutely correct.
I'd make a motion to approve.
I'll second
If we could call for a vote at this time, please.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
it. Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to item number 11. Discussion and possible action to approve the Clean Uniform Company agreement to provide linen services to the hospital clinics, dietary, and actuary services areas.
So our linen agreement comes up. We did a 3-year non-renewable linen agreement with Vestas, Aramark Vestas. That is a Texas company where our hub is based out of. They did do a visit, not gonna go into that, but it kind of sparked of why we wanted to go with a different company, if you know understand what I mean. So this company is actually part of UniFirst. UniFirst bought Clean Linen. Clean Linen is out of Kansas. They have a hub in Oklahoma City. Their facility is really, really nice, and as you can tell from their savings, we're currently paying Vestas and right around $2,800 to $3,400 a week for linen supplies. According to Aramark, and I got the price break, or Clean Linen, I did not attach it because it has specific pricing for us. But if y'all want to see the breakdown of how much they're going to charge us per item, and it's all based on our inventory, how much inventory we have. So we keep half, there's a half getting laundered is the way they bill us every week. So it's $1,000 a week, $1,021 is our estimate every week. It could fluctuate by $10 or $20, but not by anything more than 100. Just by poundage is what they go with.
That's a huge discrepancy between.
It's a very large discrepancy. Vestas or Aramark tried to get us to stay with them, but they still, what we're paying right now is $3,400. They came in at $2,892, was the best they could do, giving us another one. Clean Linen has literally, if you read the stuff, they're agreeing to a no hassle guarantee. If we don't like their service, we can cancel them at any time.
Is
So-
there a difference in the quality of the service or
No.
anything?
They deliver every week, just like we want. The same numbers we have currently. We're not decreasing our inventory at the facility. The only thing they're doing different is currently they say package, essentially washcloths, or EVS washcloths, individually folded. These will be in a bag, just all thrown into one, and the EVS people will have to fold their own. That's literally the only difference, according to the rep. I will tell you, I've talked to people that toured the plant, night and day. They said the plant at Clean it's a UniFirst facility, so it's very clean, it's very well put together, comes in and out really well. So.
Well, it makes me nervous when you say
A
that much money a
massive,
week.
an $1,800 a week
Yeah.
swing. I don't disagree. But
Has anyone
Aramark.
switched?
Hmm?
Has any of the cohesive hospitals
Yes,
currently
they're
switched?
currently switching. Everybody is currently switching to Clean Linen. I think one is in process. We are the next because our agreement come up first. We either got a term Aramark today or renew today, because we do have a 90-day out with Aramark.
So has any of the other hospitals, have they been doing it for any period
Not
of
in
time?
any length of time, no, sir.
And I'm just gonna ask, just to make sure we're clear, this isn't associated with?
Not associated with Cohesive at all, nope.
I
I know,
wanted to
hey,
ask.
I completely understand. No, not associated with Cohesive, associated with UniFirst.
It's almost one of those things like too good to be true type of situations.
Well, Aramark is kind of like, I don't want to say the Waste Connections of the linen business, but they're like the Waste Connections of the linen business.
So basically just, they like to.
They're a little higher. I mean,
Yeah.
Town of Blair also had the same company, and actually voted at their last meeting this month to cancel their contract as well because of costs.
Yeah, and they don't, again, there's no negotiation. It's in their contract. And actually, there was a no negotiation in this contract of no early termination. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not signing a contract where we can't get out of it. Because if we, especially, this initially was a 72-month term. And I'm like, no, we'll do 36. Maximum y'all will do. Sorry, speaking for y'all.
Yeah, that's how that was with
Aramark,
Blair, but
yeah.
I flat out told them that we can't, because y'all can because you're a hospital, but towns, they can't really contract beyond a year, so we
Wow.
made them change it.
Yeah, and so Clean Linen did. They was like, okay, 3 years, no price increase during that 3 years, and the guaranteed termination at any
Is it
time.
a startup company or a company
No.
that's getting off the ground that's been established for a while?
They just got bought by UniFirst. They've been in Kansas for a while, yes. They haven't been in Oklahoma market long, but they were purchased by UniFirst and they were put in here.
So what's your plan if it doesn't work out?
Look at a different linen company.
Go back to Aramark and
No,
beg them to give you the
no,
same
no,
price?
no. Like, my infection control nurse would be very upset if we went back to Aramark. That's all I'll say. She would not be happy.
Don't get me wrong, we need to save money, and this is
Yeah.
one way of saving money.
This is a
Yeah,
massive
I mean,
way.
I think you have to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on paper,
You're saving almost
They may go up
$7,000 a year.
after the 36 months, they may have
Well,
a big
or if
increase.
we don't like them in 6 months, we can say, we're done. We don't, again, that's that whole point of the guarantee, and that's why we wanted that
And it's
out.
basically a 30 days, we give them 30 and we're done.
Yep, we could. Mhm.
I'll make a motion that we accept this contract.
I'll second.
We could call for a vote?
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 12, discussion possible action to approve the termination of Vestas Aramark Linen Agreement. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the
I'll second
termination.
it.
We could call for a vote at this time?
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 13, discussion and possible action to approve Heartland Pathology contract renewal to provide anatomical pathology services and medical directorship for the Mangum Regional Medical Center.
Yep, this is just a yearly renewal for Heartland Pathology for us. They provide our pathology service and our medical directorship that we have to have for our lab. The prices, the monthly charge has not changed in now 3 years, which is $1,050 per month for medical directorship. And we have to renew it annually for them.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
I'll second
If we could call for a vote at this time?
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
it. Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 14, discussion and possible action to approve the contract safe renewal invoice to hold all MRMC contracts in one secure online location.
Yep. So this is our contract, this holds all of our contracts. Once we approve them here, get them signed, we countersign, we upload them to Contract Safe, and everybody in the cohesive corporate network can pull them at any time. They are secure, they're in a cloud, so we can pull them up. If somebody loses theirs, they can just print it off. If Adrian needs a contract of mine, she just pulls it up. It is $8,300, but between the 5 facilities, it's only $1,383.33 annually for each facility. So this is a group purchasing, so we get some cost savings by doing that.
And I'm just asking,
Mhm.
so there are other, like, for example, OneNote,
Uh-huh.
things like that, OneDrive. Is there a difference in that and this? I mean,
In
security-wise?
OneDrive, yes. I don't know about OneNote. I don't. I know Contract Safe, it actually categorizes them into different. I don't know OneNote well enough to say it's different. That would have to be somebody else. I've dealt with Contract Safe and a policy manager that does the same thing, and they're both about the same.
I'd
This
like
is
to make
just
a
what
motion that we
goes-
approve Contract Safe.
Second.
If we could call for a vote at this time?
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 15, discussion possible action to approve the Tiger Connect order form for HIPAA compliant messaging communication services.
So this is our communications, secure communication end-to-end that's HIPAA compliant for the nurses, for the providers, for myself, Nick, Cohesive, through all of our 5 facility platforms. It is $11.45 per user per month, and we have, what did he say, right around 73 users at Mangum currently. That's core and other staff, like the corporate staff. So it's HIPAA compliant. Everybody's got to have secure messaging now. This is the way that I know we've done it for 2 years now. The reason you're seeing this now, and I think they gave us an introductory fee at the $10.72, and Cohesive covered that. Now this year they have to send it on to the hospitals because Cohesive paid for the first year because we did not bring this last year, and we've had it for a year. And I will tell you, it gets used quite often at our facility, multiple times a day.
Did you say that this was also shared between all the other facilities?
This is not. This is
Okay.
by user. This is per user.
Because you said something about corporate.
Yeah, corporate. All the corporate
Paid for it.
facilities use the same platform.
And
We
they
all
paid
use
for
Tiger
it
Connect.
last year.
And corporate paid for this last year. Yes.
Okay.
I'd make the motion.
I'll second it.
If we could call for a vote?
Lively,
Just a second.
Could you tell us a little bit more about how it's used, like in a clinical way?
In the clinical way, so just without giving too much information, if a patient starts deteriorating, we can message the provider, whether it be the provider in the ER or provider off-site, hey, this is what's going on, instead of just, you're not even supposed to put a CL anymore in room such and such. You're supposed to not put anything on text message. So this, I can literally put Cheryl Lively, first, last name, room such and such, this is what's going on, and it's so secure end to end that that's HIPAA compliant now with this. So we utilize it daily for new orders for our patients, for status changes for our patients, just to keep our providers updated, and then any messaging we need to communicate with changes that we're doing throughout the day with our staff.
And if I have a nurse that missed documentation on something, or forgot to put time, or didn't sign a note, I can say, you know, this patient identification number going to this chart you missed, your note's still in draft, please correct it, please fix it.
And another nice thing is, it only stays on our phone for 20 or 30 right now, 20 days, but we can go into the archive and print out that, hey, Nick sent that to Cheryl this date, this time, she read it this date, this time. So it'll show, give us some backbone too, hey, you did see it, you just chose not to follow. So there are a lot of reports we can run off of it, but it's just our HIPAA compliant.
So I do have a question. You
Mhm.
said that Cohesive paid it for it the first year at the $10.72,
Uh-huh.
but it says on here the second year was gonna be $10 per month.
It went, that was prior, that was last year, if we would have locked in, but since it was Cohesive, our price now is $11.42 as the facility. I know.
Will that lock in the price from now on?
Yes,
Okay. Do you need this in the day-to-day running of your hospital?
yes.
Eleven
Okay.
something per
User.
70.
Mhm.
Yep.
So we have a motion and a second. Call for a vote? Yeah, I believe we have.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 16, discussion and possible action to approve the vehicle lease between Cohesive MetaRide LLC and MRMC to provide a van to be used in the Strong Minds Will program or the Strong Mind program for patient transportation.
So this is, we were kind of talking about this prior to the meeting starting. ODOT has still not received the funds from the federal government to release to us to purchase our van through the grant that we applied for and received. So we're really hoping to get our Strong Minds program up and running, but since we have not received that vehicle, I've reached out, like, hey, we have MediRide vans, that can we lease one from y'all? And I didn't know a price quite yet, and they said yes, and they hit us at $350 a month. Now, we do have to provide insurance once we get the vehicle. We will have to purchase vehicle insurance. But the amount, $350 a month, to get our Strong Minds program up and running, to me, it's not a bad price, really. I really and truly think we need to get this up and going. I don't know when we're gonna get the funds from the federal government, or the state's gonna get the funds from the federal government.
Do you have a provider for it yet? I
Mhm.
mean, like, okay.
Yep, we do.
So you have
We-
a provider for it.
We have the psychiatrist, then we have the counselor, and we're getting a tech hired on and the van. So that's our last two key spots.
And patients.
And patients. She's been doing a lot of marketing already, going to the nursing homes, going to clinics, marketing the program. She's getting a lot of good response at the nursing homes for us. So, and because again, we come pick them up. We come pick them up. We come pick your loved ones up at homes, 55 and older. If they just can't get out and around, we come pick them up. Several of our employees are like, we can't wait till you start so we can get our moms enrolled. Because it's for depression, it's for grief, it's for, you know, loneliness. It does a little bit of everything, so.
So, in here, in this agreement,
Yes, sir.
it does state, let me get you the what title it is. Just moved it. But the lease is a year lease. Item number 2, term. The term of the lease is a 1-year lease.
I did bring that up, but we can term it within a 30-day notice. I did verify that in an email to Chi, that we can term this lease, because I did initially want a 3-month lease, and that's it.
It is from Cohesive.
Yes, it is a cohesive end.
So what's the plan when this grant falls in?
Don't tell me that, because I don't
I
want it to
mean,
fall
you,
in. I know,
you
I
see it
know.
all over right now.
I don't know. We'll continue to lease the van. I don't want to continue to lease this van. We want to get the big van that we wanted, because it's so wheelchair accessible, and we can take our patients to and from our hospital to our, I know y'all don't see it on the financials a lot, but we pay a lot of money to take our swing bed patients to their follow-up appointments in Altus, in Elk City. Tons of money that we're having to pay either MediRide to come do it, or a ambulance. You know, we sent a patient not too long ago for an MRI, all the way to Hobart via ambulance, and we're gonna have to pay that high dollar bill. This will keep that from happening. Even if we do just lease this van, that will keep this from happening. And we will be able to save a little bit of money on that side.
Corey, could you read item number 2 on the term and give us your legal opinion? about-
It's a 1-year term that auto renews for 1-year terms, but it has a 30-day termination clause.
But you're okay with that 30-day termination clause?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's upon the expiration or earlier termination of this lease. So either it expires in a year or,
See, the way I kind of read it was that was only upon the 1-year lease ending.
I think the
30
next
days.
clause, upon the expiration or earlier termination of this lease,
Okay.
I think that kind of controls. Because it shall continue for 1 year unless terminated earlier as provided in this lease. So. The term of this lease shall begin on the commencement date and shall continue for 1 year unless terminated earlier as provided in the lease. Upon the expiration or earlier termination of this lease, lessee shall promptly deliver the vehicle. I mean, I think that says that it's a 30-day termination.
It's got quite a bit
Okay,
of mileage
so-
on it.
Yes, it does, because they've used it for transport.
This, when you're going down through there under the use and maintenance, when it talks about, having to fix the stuff yourself, basically, what if we drive that and the transmission goes out of it? Okay, that's pretty risky for a vehicle we don't own.
Well, especially with the vehicle with 120,000 miles
Yep,
on it.
it does have 120,000 miles.
Silly question with that kind of I mean, is it a gas engine or? a
Yeah,
diesel?
it's gas. It's a gas engine.
It's 5 years old, or 6 years old.
29.
This
Yep.
cries out Carnegie and that piece of crap we had before. Nobody else remembers that, but
Yeah, well, I wasn't on here then, so.
it never got used. It got purchased and it was never used.
Yeah,
and it was an
she's not,
old-
it got
Yes.
rented or leased, and it never got used. She's absolutely
It
correct.
never moved.
Yeah.
Ever. And we paid insurance on it every
Mhm.
month. And I think what we were into it for how many years in COVID before
Quite a bit.
we
I
finally got
remember
rid of it.
But that's, I mean,
When
that
we
is such a huge gamble.
Why, I mean, if we're, for example, if I understand if we get in an accident, we'd be
Mhm.
responsible for that. But typically, like if I rent a car from a thing and the engine goes out, I pick up the number, they bring me a new one, and I'm not the one responsible to fix it because that wasn't
Right.
something I did. And I get it, if I wreck it, it becomes my responsibility, but I disagree that 120,000 miles.
I mean, I have a lease on a vehicle, and basically, if we perform the regular maintenance, oil change,
And I agree
things
with
like
that,
that,
yeah.
then if the engine goes out, it's under warranty.
But
Well,
there's,
there's
my
that
guess there's
one.
no warranty
Oh,
on a
no.
6-year-old vehicle at
No.
120,000.
No.
No, but my lease is also substantially more than $350 a month. The question I would ask is, if we blow the engine in this thing, like we blow the head gasket, can we just terminate the lease and pay the 30 days?
That's what I was thinking.
Or,
Send it back to them.
Well, by the way this reads, we would be responsible
Yeah,
for that.
that's
Yeah,
what
we-
worries me about it.
So I can ask all those questions to Cohesive, and then we can bring it back next month. if we
let
wanna
me
do
ask you
that.
this, once we approve this item, how long till we can transport a patient to when would Strong Minds begin?
After that, so we're gonna approve, Brittany today.
Okay.
We could technically start with me or Nick driving in a week, if we don't wanna do a tech, if we wait to hire a tech. So 2 weeks to get a tech onboarded. We have somebody that's applied that we're gonna interview for the tech position.
How
But we-
much does the Strong Minds gonna contribute financially a month?
So every patient you get, we're gonna see twice a day, or twice a week, I'm sorry, twice a week, and that is the Medicare only. That will benefit the cost report per patient day, because you're looking at 2 patient days per person every time they come to our facility outpatient. So it will benefit.
How much patient day, or like 2 patient days a week?
It's outpatient, so it's a different rate. Dennis is on the phone. Did you hear that question, Dennis?
No, I didn't. What was it?
Oh, you must be connected, Nick. Hold on, Dennis, 1 second. Interesting. So Carson was asking, if we start Strong Minds, the benefit of it, when would we start to see that, the benefit of it?
You'll see the benefit of it when we file our first 8-month MO. And I will tell you, it's been had a very positive impact on our overall hospital reimbursement.
Smartphone connected.
One instance yet where it hasn't, the EBITDA hasn't improved for the hospital overall as a result of it. And it's primarily because it's just so heavily Medicare utilized. So if you started it today, we would file our 8-month IRR for the 8 months ending August 31st. And we would probably see the reimbursement impact sometime in probably around November or so. When we receive the settlement, because it usually takes them a couple of months
So,
before they will settle that piece. So you're not gonna see it instantly. Now, from that point forward, it'll be real time and it'll be in your rate
Okay.
going forward.
how much do we think per patient per week will generate?
I can do some analysis, Carson, and get that.
But like,
for you.
just like, you think a
I don't
rough
have it off the
guess?
top of my head.
Okay.
Is there a copay for a Medicare patient?
Yeah, and one of the reasons why we've always.
Dennis?
That's a great question, because one reason is, because of that, we've tried to keep the charges very low. So the cost to charge ratio for that, meaning our cost as a percentage of charges, is very high. It's higher than it is for just about any outpatient procedure. That's a great question, and that's specifically what we try to do, is keep that low because of that. Most of our patients, however, have had secondary insurance, a very high percentage. I don't know what that is off the top of my head for Mangum, but it's something we look at. I'm glad you asked, thank you.
It's just gonna impact your ability to get people to come out there if they have to pay.
If they have to pay a large amount, yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. If they have to pay a large
Yeah.
out-of-pocket deductible, then
Right.
it will affect.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So you're looking at this van for 2 separate,
2 separate things. Because again, our ODOT van has to be for two separate things.
Right.
It can't, well, it doesn't have to be. We're gonna use it for two separate things because it says it has to be used for patient transport to and from doctor's offices within 60 miles of our facility. So that's what the grant's for. So that, even though this van, we're gonna use it for Strong Minds, it will also do patient transports, yes. And I've sent a message, I'm waiting on a response from Godwin to ask a question about if we blow the engine and the transmission goes out, who's gonna pay? You
Because
know?
otherwise, I don't think I have an issue with it.
Right, me
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just
the only
haven't heard
place I'm
anything back.
torn is talking about $350 a month, let's say, new engine, new transmission, new everything is like $3,000. Or let's just say $5,000, whatever. Are we handicapping ourselves for starting a whole month late? So if we're gonna add $10,000 to a month to our revenue of the hospital and help generate that, are we even handicapped on ourselves by messing around with the $350 van, get it started, get the new deals, and get moving? Because we've been playing around with this for 4 years now.
Yeah.
And I understand that perspective. I guess my thought would be, because Murphy's Law,
Mm-hmm.
you get the van, we drive it once, we're stuck on the side of the road, now we're out. Not only the time that we had the van,
But also Cohesive wants this to happen. And if we start generating one patient or two patients, they're gonna be invested in getting it fixed and getting it done.
We do want this program up and running, we do, and.
In average
and
transport
I-
rate,
and to- And to be
16,000.
truthful, I want to for, if it's gonna benefit our community and our people in our community, with the elderly, I'm not gonna lie, my grandma needs to be at this one.
I mean, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve it. And then if it doesn't work out and we're not moving patients by month 2, we terminate the ban.
We're talking. We're-
I would second it with the caveat that this be put back on the agenda next month to know what usage we have and if we've had any issues with the van.
So Robin just said, I asked her, the van lease, what happens if the engine blows? Who's gonna be responsible for this since it's not our van, since we're leasing it? She said, initially, she was like, well, insurance. I'm like, no, that's for collision. What about the mechanical? She goes, probably Cohesive then.
Well,
Okay,
that's
then
not
we
what-
need to have
that's
this
not what it
changed.
says, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, can we vote on an item with the caveat that we have it in writing next month that says that word for word Cohesive will be responsible for any mechanical issues?
Yeah, I mean, you can make a motion to approve a contract with amendments to it. That way you don't have to go back and forth.
Okay.
So like you can amend your motion to add, I approve it as long as XYZ is present. And then if that gets second, that way, if y'all approve that with those provisions, then it goes back to them, and as long as they're in agreement with the changes you're suggesting, it can go ahead and be signed without y'all having to come back and see the agreement.
So major medical or major medical? Major mechanical, or we're not talking if we run it for, again, when it gets here, we can inspect it. If y'all wanna come out, y'all can inspect it, make sure we got good tires. Not gonna disagree on that. Tires aren't cheap anymore. But like brakes, if we need to do $100 brake job, we want them
That's
responsible
one
for?
thing. Yeah,
Are
that's-
we wanting them responsible for only major only major mechanical or
Well, I
all
would hope
mechanical?
they're not sending us a vehicle that's not gonna have decent brakes
You never know.
or tires.
What if we said on there, just $1,000, anything over $1,000, set the dollar amount?
That's up to y'all. I don't know.
I'd be fine with 1,000.
Well, I guess really the issue that we're really running into is there's a huge gap between ordinary wear and tear
Yeah.
versus negligence. And so I think that's really what it comes down to. Because if it's normal wear and tear, that's a whole nother category versus, and I think that's what you're really fighting about.
Yeah.
But the way that, the way I'm reading this,
Oh, I understand how it reads, but I think that's really the distinction at the end of the day that you're really trying to clarify.
I mean,
That
if
we
we
need
Like,
have,
to
because
add
of,
to the
if,
contract.
if the transmission goes out because someone pops it from drive to reverse, and
then that's on us.
that's on you.
Yes.
That's y'all's negligence, or if y'all operate it, it's the person that's not licensed to drive it, or, all those situations,
Or
if
you
it's,
catch the side of a curb and you have two wheels blow.
I
That's
mean,
on us.
that's the negligence aspect,
Yeah.
right? So the question then, and I think we all acknowledge that, and because it doesn't really clarify the distinction. Most of the time you see that clarification. On the other side of it, we got ordinary wear and tear.
So could we put a distinction in here? How would you suggest that?
I mean, I
that
think
word?
that's kind of important, because I understand,
I agree.
Well, item 11 is screaming at us, so it's wanting to be read and wanting you to notice it. It's all
well,
caps.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, it has, as is provision in there as well.
As is.
And so, and that's kind of what I'm getting back to, especially when it talks about implied warranties of merchantability and blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm getting back to. So, back to the question, again, and I'm not saying that it's on anybody's mind, but if they do send a car down here that's on its last leg, barely gets here, and we drive it for the first day, and everything falls off of it, I mean, that's ordinary wear and tear. And I think that's what the difficulty is. I mean, I think there needs to be some level of expectation of,
I will tell you, these vehicles were being used to transport our patients up until last month. Yeah.
I don't disagree. Every
No,
vehicle's-
but I completely
every
understand
vehicle's
y'all's-
great until you get it. And then,
Absolutely. I don't disagree. I understand. I'm just letting y'all know these were in service with MediRide last month. So these vehicles have been in service.
So what would you suggest be?
I mean, I almost feel more comfortable, instead of paying a cheaper lease, that we pay more on the lease and then the guarantee a vehicle. Like a typical lease agreement, I guess, a
What
vehicle
about
lease
that?
agreement
Would they
versus
be
us.
willing?
I mean, I understand that they're probably trying to catch us, give us a break at the 350, but that shifts a lot of expense, and then they've shifted a lot of expenses to us, meaning basically covering all maintenance, including ordinary wear and tear. And also, there's a clause in there about us carrying the insurance, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all, that's all shifted to us. So really, that $350 looks good as a number, but when you think of the risk and the amount of it, the insurance coverage we have to pick up, that $350 actually goes up. So I almost would like to keep most of the risk on that side, and then we pay more of a
More on
flat
the lease.
fee.
Yeah, it's understandable too.
I mean, that's just where I'm at, because again, this is supposed to be a stopgap measure, so I don't see, if we get our own van in 3 months, then we don't have to worry about it.
On the other hand.
Because I'm also agree with Cheryl, because I don't know how many times we've tried to get, I think at one time we had a van sitting out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the Carnegie
know,
one. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so-
what you're talking about. Yep.
So.
I've heard stories about it. It hadn't been out there since I've been there, but I've heard stories. It sat there for
And then
2
then
years.
It
Didn't
didn't
move.
and it wasn't under a covered parking or anything like that.
Yep.
And so, I have those, black and white memories flashing in my head as well. Because, again, this program's, I think it's been longer than 4 years, I swear, but
Yeah, it has.
It's been a very long time.
it's been fits and starts, and we're about to get started.
So what we can figure out is we are not saying yes to number 11 for sure. Is that where we're at?
I would struggle with 11. I'd struggle with part of
Okay.
number 2.
Robin's actually saying we can just bring back the whole agreement, work on a
Yeah.
different
All right,
proposal,
that sounds
and bring
good
another one
plan.
back next month, if y'all wanna just table this, so we
Yeah.
bring it back next
Let's
month.
table it.
Yeah, and Kelly, I was, and I'm just throwing this out there, I was just thinking through this as y'all were talking too. Maybe we can, also, you always want to take into impact, consideration the reimbursement impact as well. Because anything that we are paying, the hospital's paying, we are going to get reimbursed part of that. So maybe we can work out something that you know, helps to provide, you know, the hospital with assurance and yet takes the reimbursement impact into it as well. And that might be beneficial for all parties.
Could
That
we?
makes more sense.
Could we look at maybe possibly doing two things here and then having two options? Option A being a car with 100,000 miles, that's this car, at maybe a 550 or 650 where Cohesive carries the warranty. Option B being us look at like a brand new van and what the lease would cost on that, or something of that nature, like an actual Medlar ride van.
Well, why would we not, if we're gonna do this long-term, why is the hospital not purchasing the van?
Well,
so
we
did,
own
we're
the
going
van?
to, we're going to.
Because we got a
But
grant.
We don't
I know,
have
but
the,
that's
yeah,
not
we
here,
just don't have
so-
that grant money yet.
Yeah,
So-
that's not here.
But I guess also back to the whole transmission issue and why I think we just need to put in, instead of us leasing a van, we're leasing the right to a van is what I'm calling it. Because if we lease a van and the transmission's out, then we don't have a van. But if we lease a right to the van and the transmission goes out under the
Brings
lease,
another van.
we get a new van while they take that one back to repair. Because if we start the program and our equipment goes down, then we're dead in the water again.
Again.
Right.
Would we get, if we paid more in a lease to the right,
Yeah.
would we get more return on the reimbursement?
I think that's what Dennis was
No,
talking.
it's really gonna be basically the same because depreciation and rent are kind of treated the same on the cost report. So that's a good question. Thank you, Brent.
I think that's what Dennis was talking about on the we were able to offload some of the costs on the cost report. So if it is a little bit higher, we could offload a little bit more than the 350.
Than the
Yeah.
350, and we take the responsibility or that burden off of us?
Yeah.
I would be more in support of a,
And I'll
paying
talk to them
650,
about
750.
all the concerns here and see if, you know, they got other vans that if the transmission does go out, can you bring us another van? Because if we can't be down like Corey just brought up. We
Yeah.
can't start a program and then be down in the program within 2 weeks. You know, that's not a good look either, you know, so,
similar to bringing a doctor in and they go away.
yes.
Okay. We're tabling that agenda item, and that was item number 16. Moving on to item number 17, discussion possible action to approve the appointment of Megan Smith, RN, of the Infection Prevention and Mangum Regional Medical Center for 2025.
Yep, so just appointments we gotta do every year. She's been our infection preventionist all of 2024, so she's gonna continue to be our infection preventionist.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second it.
We could call for a vote.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 18, discussion possible action to approve the HIPAA security officer Desiree Gallmer at the Mangum Regional Medical Center for 2025. I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
That's
could
our
call for a
IT
vote.
lady.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Discussion possible action to approve the compliance officer Denise Jackson at the Mangum Regional Medical Center for 2025.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion. We could call for a vote at this time.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 20, discussion and possible action to approve the HIPAA privacy officer Jennifer Dreyer at the Mangum Regional Medical Center for 2025.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second it.
If we could call for a vote.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, item number 21, discussion and follow-up regarding a helipad at the MRMC campus.
So this is just a follow-up from the commissioners meeting. Godwin just wanted me to talk to y'all a little bit about it. We did do some looking for different LZs, at possible options for LZs, so we wouldn't get any FAA or LZ infractions, people driving in, because that's happened to, I know of twice in 15 years that I've been around that's happened. So only place to put a helipad out there that possibly will get approved by the FAA is across the parking lot in somebody's field. So the hospital would have to purchase a piece of that field, put up a fence, then FAA has to come in and approve that also. So a lot of money could be tied into that, and then you gotta pour the helipad, okay? So we looked at looking at our ER patients for the year, we had 1,753 ER patients in 2024. Of those, we had 29 helicopter transfers. That's
I'll
it.
tell you, it feels like it's more than that. My
Yeah, it
dogs go
does.
crazy
Yeah.
every time a helicopter
Yeah,
lands.
it's 29 is what we had for
Does
2024.
that take into consideration?
No, just ER, just ER.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the city, if they have to transport, which they bring out.
Yes, now the city does bring out. And the one infraction that's happened on the LZ recently was a scene flight from EMS, not a hospital flight. So, now, I will tell y'all, one of the things that used to happen when we were out there, and this was, I'd have to talk with Irma about, the police used to come out and secure the backside of the LZ. So, you had the front side with fire, backside with PD, and then if somebody would try to encroach on the LZ, the police would step in at that point. That's the only change that I've seen since I've been back. That doesn't happen anymore. I do understand the police force is very whittled down to the bare bones right now, but that's the only thing I see. We can continue to move forward if y'all want to,
Well,
but again, we'd have to purchase the property from somebody across.
then after you build the helipad and you do all of that, then you have to look at the logistics and the
Yep.
cost of transferring a patient from the ER
Yep.
to this field.
Yeah,
So that's gonna incur
Yeah.
additional cost every
And-
single time that you transport a patient versus.
well, we'd walk them out the front door of the hospital.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna walk them out the front door of the hospital and across to a field.
Yep, I
You're
know.
looking at possibly an ambulance coming on site to take them from there to
Again,
now
the
to
only-
the
the only part-
helipad.
We got their made ride van.
You didn't approve it, so no, you don't.
But you don't have a paramedic, you don't have a paramedic,
Nope.
and you don't have a flight
You
person,
don't.
so.
So this,
Or
again,
the
this was
ambulance
just a
gonna bring the crew
follow-up.
and then take them
Godwin
back,
wanted to
so.
let y'all know that we did look into this, just so, again, the commissioners wanted us to look into it, so we have. So we just wanted to report that
So
we have.
the 29 is, do you feel like that's about an average
That's
each
about an
year?
average, yeah.
I just-
And I want to tell you,
I gotta
so-
tell you, I'm amazed by that number.
So one of the things that I will tell you is, a lot of this also is because our EMS has been so short on no truck, no paramedic. Lately, they've been able to take several for us, so I will say that. So you've had a number that's decreased. And if you hear them coming in during the middle of the afternoon, they might be coming in to do PR and different things like that, so. Yeah, they do occasional PR.
It seems like it's always 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah, always.
Okay.
So just a quick follow-up, just wanted to let y'all know that we did look into that, and we will pursue if y'all want us to.
Honestly, I don't think you should, I personally don't think y'all should put a helipad in a bad spot. I think I think you can either pick out your dream spot and you put it in that dream spot, or you don't do it at all.
Yeah, the dream spot's where it used to be. It's where the health department's sitting.
Well, we can't put it there anymore.
That was the dream spot.
I would just say for financial reasons, we're just not in a position to do that right now.
I don't disagree.
Especially when, for something that happens
Could
twice
we?
in how many,
I know it happened once when I was here before, and then this one time since I've been back, that's
So-
it.
Could we
That's just
possibly
not-
come up with just a figure, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 for a cost of this thing, and then at the next time we're at the board, or the commissioners meeting, we can say the cost of a helipad.
Cheryl, how
will
much do you
be-
want to sell a piece of that property of
I
yours?
wondered when y'all would figure out.
I already knew.
the
I just
price
didn't
went
say
up
nothing.
just tonight.
Well,
I,
you can't do business.
Yeah.
$1 million.
How much do you want for an acre of that property?
I just don't know if that's the dream spot, though.
I don't
I
disagree,
would say
because
it's
it's still a
not, but-
long ways.
Yeah.
It's still a long ways on the corner, and if the FAA comes in and says, hey, we don't like these trees from this person's house, well, now, are we gonna force them to cut their trees down, or do we just put a helipad somewhere that we not gonna get approved? With an LZ, it doesn't matter, but a true helipad that's FAA approved is different,
What that is the further you get away from the hospital,
the more stuff.
the more, you need.
Oh, absolutely.
Jackson County, I mean, they got 20 yards to walk,
Yeah.
you know,
And stuff still happens.
and then we have all of our weather extremes, you know.
Well, we didn't
so
have that
this is-
far at Elk and stuff happened.
Yep, vents fall off the stretcher, I mean,
Well,
IVs
that's
get
the other thing. It's
pulled.
like you almost gotta get like a EMS grade off-road stretcher
Yep.
because of the
Yes.
concrete or the asphalt, you know, so.
And the weather aspect, and I
Yep.
mean, there's a whole thing.
There's a
Other
bunch of stuff.
facilities have a tunnel that they go.
But I think we need to come up with a crazy number and give it,
Okay, I'll talk to Cheryl, see how much she wants to.
yeah.
And then I'll get a concrete worker out here, see. Get your
Concrete's
crazy numbers.
expensive, I can tell you
Concrete's
that.
expensive, and it's gotta be big.
No, I think you need to just say, this is our dream location.
Our dream location.
Tear down the health department.
Is the health department.
Health department. Health department's our dream
There's
location.
talks at one time about putting it between, like, on the north side of the hospital.
The only problem with that is.
That's where our radio tower's at.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
Why don't
your,
we put
is
it
that
on
your
the
dream
roof?
location?
That would be the dream location.
Then that's
Get
what
the
I'm saying.
roof
This is our dream
redone.
location. It's gonna cost this much money.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. Instead of us trying to find a place
Yeah,
that's gonna go.
exactly.
No liability.
This, and it is the best spot.
Yeah, that's, to me, that's the best spot because we're outside the ER.
That is your best
So
spot.
is the radio tower the only issue?
New building.
No, all
There's
the
power lines and
all
all
the
this.
electrical.
We killed about 30.
And put underground and
Radio
everything.
tower's gonna be
But,
50
we can
grand.
call
And
Carson, because we got no
multiple,
subdivisions.
trees have had to get.
And that's what I'm trying to kind of get at, to show this.
We want
Instead of
some
us
Grey's Anatomy.
putting it in a
here.
bad spot
Let's
just because it's
Put it in their dream
convenient,
spot and what the number is.
this is where it needs to go and this is how much it's gonna cost.
Okay, we can do that.
I mean, I think that's a better way to look at it because I feel like sometimes we try to do things on the cheap and it's not the best thing long-term.
I don't disagree.
And so I'd rather the board look at, say, this is the ideal location, how much will it cost to put it here? And then you at least have, and I think last
Ideal,
time
that
we
makes more
priced it was,
sense.
it was north of $200,000 last
Yeah.
time we priced it.
Yeah.
Because
this
we had
time it'll be
looked,
cheap.
we had looked at that like in 22, I think,
So look at
21.
inflation, probably 450,000.
I think Mark said just the electrical movement of the power lines was over $100,000. Just the movement of the power lines. That's not including concrete work, anything. So,
But we can land in the parking lot for free.
yeah, and just secure it again.
Do we get fines for that? What, I mean, was it a
The,
fine?
the one time that it happened when I was there, yes, the fine was pretty do we, or, you can, yes, you can get a fine from the FAA, yes,
Okay.
for not securing the LZ. But if you ask any helicopter medic, pilot, you know who violates LZs more than anybody? Highway patrolmen. They violate LZs more than any person, anything. So if they're not getting fined, but yes, we can get fined. But the one time I do know a person got arrested because they did not listen to the police when they were told to stop at our facility, and they did throw them in jail that day.
So, but for us, the liability could be a fine.
Could be a
but
fine, yes.
That versus if it's happened only twice.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense at this point to put money into something.
Exactly.
And also, it's a lot cheaper to just put in those little concrete barriers.
Yep. Corey said that at the commission meeting. He sure did.
What do you, just the?
The big concrete
big-
dividers, yeah.
I know where a bunch are sitting there just chilling.
Yeah, the city owns a bunch. You can just go boom, boom, boom. And then you don't have to worry about people driving across the
They won't be moved
ditch.
till the end of April. They get moved and then they get put right back.
That's funny. So that's the update on the helipad. Okay, nothing to vote on that. Y'all want to go to 22?
Yep, table 21, moving on to item number 22, discussion follow-up regarding the MRMC RHC.
Okay, so again, we talked about last month, the RHC and different options that we're looking at. Whether it be moving the clinic, keeping the clinic where it's at, closing the clinic, looking at financials. We are digging pretty deep into this. Again, our number from daily census from December was 6.73 up to 8.41. So prelim numbers, looking at some quotes that we received for flooring, electrical, networking, sinks, computer mounts, chairs, desk, and countertops to move to the annex is rough estimate $37,000 currently. And that does not include 2 air conditioner units, the painting that our staff would have to complete, and texturing. So you're looking of probably right around $40,000 to get started to move. And even with that being said, RHC still has to come in and approve the site. So I know y'all want us to dig into the clinic. I know it lost what this month? How much was it again? 49,000. Again, some of that is management fees that have moved over to there and different things. It's not quite, if you move those back over, it's right around, I think 31 is what is the true loss when you look at expenses. So again, we are working towards that, different options that we have open. We just want to give you all an update that we are looking at that. And that would be running 4 rooms, provider's office, Nurse man, or clinic director's office and a nurse's station.
Why are the management fees coming out on this
They
part of
just,
the cash?
they just put them onto, they spread them out between the hospital and the clinic, depending on, payroll of the clinic supervisor.
It's to account for the two of their time that they spend
Yeah.
talking about and worrying
Yeah.
about the clinic.
Yep. So, again, still working towards it. If y'all want us to continue, we will, so.
I mean, I would like to, we gotta figure something out because it's, we can't continue to live at this level.
Are there gonna be any economies of scale that happen with providers? Because that's our highest cost area is provider.
Mhm.
So is there, in moving that, to me, it's not really worth moving unless you're gonna have some of that.
Possibly could be some. So they've talked about our ER providers covering the clinic if we do move the clinic to the annex. That would decrease a FTE that's at the clinic currently. We would keep the we would keep the MD at the clinic that's there twice a month, or 4 times a month, sorry. So there could be some, but again, their rates go up if they're having to cover 2 areas also, cover ER and clinic. And, there's positives and negatives to that.
Why are we talking about moving the clinic? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Because of the clinic, the $400,000 loss that we had last year, and the board was so concerned about that, Cohesive wanted to start looking at everything about it.
Okay.
Financially, if it's financially,
But-
will it improve us financially by moving the clinic to the annex?
Okay, but if we move the clinic, it will probably be we're gonna go from what?
8 patients a day.
8 patients a day to 4 patients a day because we've moved our venue. Then we look at what's our savings, just the rent? How much is our rent a month?
$1,850.
What we were just talking about is having the staff at the ER cover the clinic at times. And
Yeah.
so they would be covering 2 places at once. And
Yeah.
with the numbers,
But it
most
just
days
says
they
that
could.
costs their
It-
salary to go up, so.
It does cost their salary to go up, per their agreements.
Patient satisfaction.
Yeah, patient satisfaction could go down. We've done that before, when I was here before, when I first come on as CNO. And truthfully, but again, the clinic was where it's at now. If we had a busy ER day, Lisa will tell you, patients get mad because hey, I gotta go, I'll be back. And they don't come back for 4 hours because they had a critical patient that they couldn't leave.
I guess-
Or we've had to cancel them.
Well,
I guess
think-
my question would be to Godwin or to somebody else up there is the clinic causing irreparable financial harm to the handling or the future handling of the hospital?
Dennis, did you hear that question? I don't think it's
Yeah,
causing irreparable
I
harm.
can tell you, just about all RHCs, all clinics lose money, and this one's no exception. And there's a lot of moving parts to analyze these things, but if you, like we've done one analysis that just shows if you just eliminated the clinic, well, on the hospital side, it would increase the margin by about $742,000, but then you'd have to remove the net revenue that the clinic's producing in the 340B, and it gets it down in the ballpark to where, okay, you can minimize that loss to about maybe $336,000.
And the
So-
clinic kicks about what?
Yeah, so-
$100,000 worth of referrals or $500,000 worth of referrals?
$500,000 in 6 months is what we did last year.
$500,000 in 6
Yeah.
months. So
In
we
6
lost
months.
$400,000 at the clinic, but we turned around and did $400,000 in 6
In
months.
charges, in charges, not in reimbursement.
Right.
That's what we charged out. So
Oh,
what, about 40% of is what you're gonna get reimbursed of
Okay.
$500,000.
Okay.
You really have to look at a lot of different things though, because, and there's some things, assumptions you have to make. And I'll give you an example. There's, you have a lot of people that, they go to the clinic and maybe that's the reason why also when they had to have their mother or, or grandmother or whatever became a swing bed patient. So it's really hard to sit and say that, all of a sudden eliminating the clinic service wouldn't eliminate something else or be harmful. You wouldn't really know that till you did it to some degree. But in just doing the math, yeah, every clinic, if you just eliminated the math piece, it would be a favorable increase to not have one. Like I said, there's a lot of assumptions on other things that you're currently getting. Would your swing vet patients decrease, or something to that effect? It absolutely could.
I mean, part of my concern when we were having this conversation was that there's really no stability in the clinic.
Correct.
I mean, you're not going, a client or a customer's not gonna, they're just not. That stability, you don't have that stability.
Because we haven't been, I mean, he hasn't even been there a year yet.
Right.
Not till June. I mean, so yeah, we don't have that stability yet.
My family, whoever, we typically stick with the folks that we've stuck with because they've always been there.
Absolutely.
So like when Dr. Cayley was here, we always went to Dr. Cayley because there was stability there.
Yep.
Even when Dr. Cayley was out and sick, there was still stability.
Absolutely.
And I think that was my concern, is that if we expect that number to increase, we can advertise as much, and you guys do a lot of advertising, a lot. Because when I watch Tiger TV, every other commercial is something to do, and y'all have your.
Hey, we try, man.
Yeah. I don't-
Actually, that's that 110 that y'all approved. I mean, and so I think we do it again this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure gonna ask us for it.
Well,
so.
you're right there on the television. Through the entire game, you're there. I guess what I was trying to say was, we've got to do more than just, the advertisement's not going to get us there. We've got to do something different if we expect that we want that to rise. And I think stability for me is one of those things. I don't disagree that there may be some positives into the hospital from doing it, but we can't continue to keep at this level and just say, well, that's the best we're going to do, so that's where we're going to stay.
No, we got to get better. We do. And we got to continue to increase. I will agree with that.
But I would say too, that moving the clinic would make it cause even more upheaval in its stability.
Well, and we didn't suggest that last time. We just asked
No,
for
they did
some
not suggest that.
alternatives.
Right.
That's
Like,
just
what
something
could we
brought
look
up.
at to produce what the
Yeah.
end result would be?
Yeah.
Kelly,
Well, any increase you have in the Medicaid population, that clinic is going to help you financially. And Medicare will be second, but Medicaid for our RHCs is the best payer that we can have. And one of the primary reasons why is because they only have a $4 copay. So most of the money they get, and we get paid the all-inclusive rate, which is our cost. So in comparison to like Blue Cross and Blue Shield, you may get $300 a pop for a Medicaid patient, and you're lucky to get $100 for a Blue Cross and Blue Shield. As ironic as that is. So things that target that population or those demographics certainly help. It also helps on your SHOP and your Senior Select payments here that we get for Medicaid patients. So that's one area where if there's something that enhances that is a positive for that clinic.
So are there specific things that we could look at? Like to enhance that?
Just get more, again, I think stability is your biggest thing that's gonna enhance that. Getting your Medicaid patients in there, like he's saying, to increase those Medicaid numbers. Because if those Medicaid numbers go up, our payments go up and our SHOP payments go up because we're taking care of more Medicaid. And that's what generates that payment.
So how do we do that?
Continue to keep him in the clinic. He's registered with Medicaid to where people can choose him as their primary care provider. Man, being a family practitioner, just continuing, I mean, he's been there 6 months. Him staying, or us having, like you said, stability in that clinic with the same provider for over a year.
Does Medicaid still assign patients?
No, they get a
initially
choice
sign up?
now. They get a
So
choice.
They automatically get their choice.
Yeah, they don't get assigned anymore. They get a choice, so, here would be Ashley,
Right.
him, and yeah.
Used to, your
Mark
provider's
Evans.
got a list of all these new people who are on
Yep.
Medicaid, they now belong to
You got your monthly list
until they
of your new-
choose to do something different.
Yeah, now they get a choice between three. I think they get three different
And right now,
providers.
you have Aetna, Humana, and Complete Health. So those are the three, and usually those are the ones that are out trying to actually enroll patients themselves.
And I guess another way, is just continue to get him in the public eye, with the new moms, You know, again, the Medicaid demographic is the younger generation and the older generation. You know, just keep him in there, seeing, again, he can see any age, just continue to do that.
Does he live here nearby?
He currently lives here, yeah.
I mean, does he do things within the community? Maybe that would help as well.
I don't think he does things within the community. We were trying to get him to football games, but he did at that time when he first started, he was still going back to Dallas every weekend, so he was going to see family.
I mean, that may help.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that's one thing, that's why we trust some of our people,
Yeah,
our
'cause you know
physicians,
'em.
is because they're part of our community and we wanna.
Yeah,
I-
you could have, vaccination clinics, you could do physicals.
We
you know,
did the
anything-
physicals this year.
anything
We did
that's
do the
attractive-
physicals this year.
You did?
Yep.
Anything that's attractive to families with kids is gonna get that.
We
benefit.
absolutely, we did physicals for 3 months. 3 months, we did physicals at a specific time, so they could come in anytime. They didn't have to have an appointment. I think it was on Wednesdays after lunch.
Did
They-
you have
What
Medi-Cal?
about-
Did you have?
Oh, yeah,
take
some days we
advantage
had 15 come in the afternoon, absolutely.
I know some, like at the beginning of the school year,
Mhm.
I don't know where they go, but I know a lot of kids get on the bus and they go down, do the physical, all the paperwork signed, and were you guys a part of that?
We weren't a part of that, but that was at either Jackson County's or Altus does it at the gym there. It's usually the orthos put that on. No, we did not do that.
Is that something that maybe we could?
I know we've done it before. We went to the school and did it ourselves, to Mangum Public School. The clinic did.
I mean, that's a way to get out there. in the
Yeah.
community.
We got it. We talked to the school and we were there and we went to the gym and I had 2 providers with us. I was one of the nurses that checked the vitals and then the providers did the physical and then to finish the rest.
What a good way to connect to, I mean,
We could do that
honestly,
this year.
you got a
Yeah.
school that's here and you've got a hospital that's here with a clinic, that why couldn't we connect?
We
those?
absolutely can. All we gotta do is, I'll talk to, the superintendent.
If it comes by 7,
Well, the great thing also is that we're really helping the people that we want.
Yeah.
So that's a great service.
Is that something you guys can check on?
Absolutely. I'll talk to Coach, sorry.
Yeah.
I call him Coach Reese still.
Yeah, you're right.
Mr. Reese, yes, I'll talk to him.
But I do think that's one of those things that.
We had a good,
it's-
we had a good turnout.
And it's free advertisement,
And we did it for free. Everything was free.
Well, and before school starts also, for the little kids, you could have a vaccine catch-up kind of clinic thing.
that's a good idea too.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Okay, I'll put
And
that in my
just get them
notes.
in there, and then they're more likely to think
Okay, well,
about
thank
it.
you for that. Any more questions?
We used to do that in the other.
Uh-huh.
Okay, seeing no questions, let's go ahead and, item 23, discussion and possible action to enter into executive session for the review and approval of medical staff privileges, credentials, contracts for the following provided pursuant to 25 O.S. whatever that is, 307B1.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay.
We just go in the hallway.
Yeah. Michelle's like, I gotta go at 7. So you're gonna sign everything?
Nope, I'm not. You're gonna give me a back.
when you do a half marathon and don't properly train.
Well,
You Give a knee.
You can just actually call us out of it.
Okay, we're out of executive session on the 24, discussion and possible action in regards to the executive session.
I'd make a motion to approve, do I need to state their names?
You approve them all?
Yeah, approve all the folks for the courtesies as they're labeled.
I will second the motion.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, are there any remarks or inquiries from the governing body members here? Hospital CEO, the city attorney, or the hospital staff? Seeing none, new business. Discussion and possible action on any new business which has arisen since the posting of the agenda that could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of the posting. That's 25.0S.311-10. Okay.
I make a
Well, at
motion
this
to
time-
adjourn.
I will
Thank you.
Second.
Call for the vote?
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
See how much quicker I am?
He just, I was gonna say, he just said know how to get out of here.
Let me go around and see if somebody.
The only thing I do need you to sign since you
Oh,
left, Cheryl,
God. Do what?
the only things I do need you to sign since you left is the convention stuff.
Oh, okay, well, he wasn't here for that meeting, so.
Just sign that and I'll get it fixed.
Okay.
And I'll check marks that I'm gonna do as requested.
Where are you, sir?
Let's send you a wall.
As requested.
Because I'm up in Oklahoma City all the time now, trying to put my names from. I got every
And
legislator.
right there, sign your name and date.
Where's the date? Yeah, just under
Just
here.
right up.
Are you leaving?
Today is 2/20.
25.
Okay.
Do you
All right,
where you think
thank
Steve?
Mhm.
You good?
You
You look good.
Somebody
Yeah,
himself.
yeah,
What you got?
I ran Cowtown Sunday, but I didn't train like I should have. Pulled my groins, strained my knee.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
I'm hoping it's just a strain.
That was an
Just admit
expensive
it. Just say
Sunday,
you're
wasn't it?
I mean, there's that,
Just say you're old.
Well, I qualify for the Strong Minds program,
You're 55?
but I don't have the
I'll
Medicare.
make sure, I'll come pick you up and everything.
Yes. Because if I get stuck on the side of the road, I'm gonna sue all of you, no matter what that lease says.
How long did they stay there? How long?
4 hours.
4 hours.
We pick them up, the program starts at 10, ends at 2. We feed them lunch, give them snacks.
What's the legality of you and Nick being the driver?
As long as, the person that drives the tank is gonna has to be CNA, the tank is gonna also take the bathroom.
Right.
I know.
I'm
We,
just.
if something happens, we're gonna be ridiculous. It's,
There's a white circle with a red square in it. end.